Welcome back to 5-Minute Bible Study. I was just reviewing the notes that I wrote a long time ago when I first saw this story, and there were several moments that really hit me. So I'm going to read it like I always do, and then we're going to talk about it. So we are starting with Matthew 9:18 to 26. While he was saying this, a ruler came and knelt before him and said, "My daughter has just died, but come and put your hand on her and she will live." Jesus got up and went with him, and so did his disciples. Just then, a woman who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak. She said to herself, "If I only touch his cloak, I will be healed." Jesus turned and saw her. "Take heart, daughter," he said. "Your faith has healed you." And the woman was healed from that moment. When Jesus entered the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the noisy crowd, he said, "Go away, the girl is not dead but asleep." But they laughed at him. After the crowd had been put outside, he went in and took the girl by the hand, and she got up. News of this spread through all the region. I'm going to try and get through everything that I processed at the time with this one, and hopefully we can get through it all. So the first part that struck me was that the ruler came up, interrupted Jesus, it was while he was talking, and knelt down. This is a ruler who is used to everybody else having to bow down to him. He's never on his knees. It's everybody else. But he actually humbles himself and is brave and bold enough to submit at Jesus' feet. So that part hit me first. And then he said, "My daughter is dead." And just to make it home, I was like, Summer, my daughter Summer. What if I had come to Jesus and said, "Jesus, Summer is dead. My daughter is dead." But his faith in that sentence was, "But I know that there's more to it than this. I know there's more than death. You can beat death. I fully believe that if you come to my house right now and you touch her, she will start breathing again. I know it sounds crazy, but I want you to know that I believe it." So then Jesus started on his way. He was going to go do what was asked of him, which is beautiful all in itself. But then this desperate woman, she forces her way through to Jesus. And what I noted here was that she thought the power was in his cloak. Her thought was, if I can just touch the cloak, I'll get better. The cloak has magic powers. He doesn't even have to stop for me. It has nothing to do with him. I'm just going to touch the cloak and poof, I'll be all better. And then Jesus saw her and he wasn't mad. So let's observe that. How many times do we think that God is mad at us when we're desperate and asking him for things, even things that we just think are inappropriate? I don't know, but God did not get mad. Jesus did not get mad. He actually called her daughter. Jesus viewed this stranger woman just like the ruler viewed his daughter, who he loved so much, he chased down Jesus and submitted to him. That's how much he loved his daughter. And so then Jesus goes and calls this woman daughter. He has the same love for her, to chase down hope and healing. And he says, "Faith healed you, not my cloak." It had nothing to do with my cloak and everything to do with what made you touch the cloak. What made you act? Faith made you act. That faith is what healed you. And when you touched, now I can turn to you and say, poof, you're healed. She wasn't healed when she touched the magical cloak. That's not when she got healed. She got healed when Jesus turned around and said, "Your faith is powerful. I'm healing you because of it." And I wrote down here that it was not a cloak moment. It was a faith moment. It's never the thing, the moment, or the action or event that works in us. It's the faith that came with those things. So then Jesus gets to this other home where they're already having a funeral. They're playing the flute and something else really noisy. It just sounded crazy. And he says, "She's not dead. She's asleep." And everybody laughed. Everybody thought he was delusional. They thought she was dead. He said she's alive. And what I found here is that agonizing defeat and a miracle can look the same at first glance. You can mistake one for the other, defeat or a miracle. Maybe something that we see as defeat or over or dead, maybe it's just a simmering miracle ready to blow. And so these people laughed and they had no faith. The same cloak that was with that woman who touched Jesus was in this house. Same cloak. Wasn't the cloak. These people had no faith. They didn't believe in his power and what he could do. It had to do with faith. And after the lack of faith had been put outside, it said the crowd was put outside, after it had been removed from the immediate situation, he touched the girl. And the ruler's faith in Jesus led Jesus to heal. And word spread fast, of course it would. And I just think those things are amazing.